of people talking about money, we wanted to transition to our short shot and talk a little bit about South by etiquette. So first of all, should you just come out and tell people your income at South by Southwest? I'm just kidding. No one actually does that. We have some questions for Michael Barnes about how one should carry themselves, behave during South by Southwest, and both. I have a lot of questions about this, and I know you do too, Omar. Mm-hmm. But I'll start with one which is a pet peeve of mine, and that is people checking Facebook in your company, like getting on their phone, and sometimes it's to say something about you, like I'm here with Omar Gallaga at the Bing Village, having fun or whatever. And it just drives me crazy whenever people check Facebook in public or do anything on Facebook in public. And checking a text message is fine. Maybe a friend is lost or, trying to get in or whatever. But it just drives me nuts whenever people check Facebook in public. But lately I'm thinking that perhaps I'm old-fashioned for caring about this. So A, is it okay? Clarify it for me once and for all, Michael. And B, how should one react on the receiving end of this?
I don't think it's okay, but I will say that there's a way around it.
Okay.
Because as a reporter, I need to be taking notes. I need to be tweeting what's happening. I'm not going to remember all this.
Right.
I need a record of it.
Right.
So rather than having a big old-fashioned notebook and a pen, I put things in my smartphone.
Right.
But I tell the people that I ask their permission. I apologize in advance. I say, every once in a while, you say something so interesting, I have to write it down.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's perfect. So you preempt the awkward messing with your gadgets with a little bit of flattery. Okay, that's good.
Very, very smooth.
Great answer.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
So, yeah, and I'm wondering if you think that obviously the culture of the city changes during South by Southwest. Do you feel like the structure of the social scene responds to that or has embraced it? I mean, is there sort of, when South by comes, do all the galas go away and all of the social scene stuff kind of pause, or have they come to embrace the festival and incorporate themselves into what happens in March?
In a very real sense, they pause. Nobody goes up against South by, ACL, or Formula One now. They just know better. And it's not a question of, are their particular constituents going to be going to, a headbanger showcase instead of to their gala? It's more that, the city kind of shuts down in some ways and try to get to a venue. And plus the venues are all rented by all the side parties. But on top of all that, all of the air is taken out of the room in the media. I'm not going to any of them. So, I'm not saying they don't exist if I don't go to them, but if you're thinking about strategically about as a host and you're putting on an event, you don't go up against the mega festivals. At the same time, I'm kind of surprised that some of the pre-existing events, social things, don't incorporate it more. And the one that drives me crazy is the rodeo.
Yeah,
because the rodeo used to be the biggest game in town. It shut down the city. People were let out of school. It was.
I remember from kindergarten going directly to the rodeo.
Yeah. So it was a huge cultural deal. Then they moved out to Eastern Travis County and left. They're invisible to us if you're downtown. And then South by came along right after that and took up all the space downtown. And the rodeo people, who I adore and known for a long time, are furious that they get all of the attention. They say, well, our event is as big as theirs. No, you're a local event. They're a global event.
Right.
Let's get,
right.
Let's not go there. But the other thing is, why don't you bring some of the rodeo downtown?
Which would be fantastic.
Why don't you do demonstration events at a temporary corral down on Auditorium Shores? Everybody in the world wants to see a Texas rodeo.
I am with you. I think Jimmy Fallon would love nothing more than to host his Tonight Show this year in the middle of the rodeo.
Well, more etiquette stuff. Is it ever? Oh, and I think South by Southwest parties, I think, sort of exist in their own little world. So I'm wondering if some of these etiquette things apply just to South by Southwest parties or to the rest of the year. But is it ever okay to bring extra people with you to a party when you haven't RSVP'd them?
No, you need to RSVP them.
Okay.
And you need to let the hosts know so they can plan for it. And yeah, I am appalled when I see some of my colleagues go, oh, and these 6 people are with me. You know, I'm like, no. So, I mean, every once in a while, you know, you pull the host aside and you say, look, I had to have a ride here, and, you know, this is my ride, and is this okay? And they'll usually say to me,
I owe this person money.
they have a gun to my head.
What about the inverse of that which is this happens a lot during South by Southwest. You RSVP to 100 events with no intention of going to all of them, RSVPing without showing up.
That's a different story because basically during the year, my standard response is I hope to drop by. I hope to drop by. By now, people in the city understand what that means, is that I hope to drop by, but I'm not guaranteeing my presence. Don't set aside a dinner for me. And if I am going to sit down and I'm going to eat and I'm going to whatever, I tell them that. And I go further and I say, please save me a space. Now, at South by, almost all the confirming of attendance is done electronically. You can't, there's no, you can't be nimble about it. You either have to press yes or no. So I don't feel bad about saying, yes, I intend to come and then not show up. And on top of everything else, there are a million parties during South by. So people, the hosts know what they're getting into as far as that's concerned.
Another question that Omar brought up, which I just love, not saying I've ever done this before, but what about the drive-by food grab? So you go...
I'm not saying I ever did that either. I'm just putting a hypothetical out there.
So is it ever okay to go to a South by party with free food, as there are many, eat your food and then immediately leave afterwards? Or even worse, take it to go.
You may not take it to go. That is foul.
But good to have that finally clarified.
I'm sure you've seen that, though. The wrap in the napkin of pile of donuts or what have you.
Oh, I've seen much worse. Even in polite society, I've seen people pick up
their swag bag and
leave.
Swag
bags, which thank God are going out. That was the bane of my existence for a while. And especially people forcing them on you. It's like, no,
right.
I cannot carry around a bag for 12 hours.
It's 3:00. I'm going till midnight. Yeah.
So, but the other about eating and then going, I think a lot of it depends on whether or not you got to try to engage the people there. I would say, and there have been times when I have done the circuit of the whole room. I've surveyed it. I've been open to people, to the possibility of talking. I've looked for people who looked like they wanted somebody to talk to. Nothing. I'm getting 0. So I'm like, I'll have my little finger food. No, of course, I try never to go someplace where there's big piles of food, because then I couldn't get through the day.
Right.
But I'll go and get a little finger food.
Right.
And if nothing else is happening, yeah, I'll go after that. But
I cannot imagine Michael going to a party. These people are lame. I'm leaving. I can't imagine you not finding some common ground with people.
It's more of a matter of them being open. And I will tell you, you already know this, but the 3 parts of South by all have very distinct social systems, and the interactive people are all eager to talk and share their lives, and maybe in a little geeky way, but they are very, very open to hearing about your world as well. Movies a little less so. They're more project driven. They more want to tell you about what they're got in the works or what's premiering this week. The music guys, oh my goodness. I mean, either they just want to get drunk and get laid. They're not interested in. Can I say that on
No, say more, please.
But they're really not interested in talking to you for the most part, and you really have to. And a part of it is just their social world. I mean, they don't just have conversations a lot of where they go on tour and everything. So it really is different.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have one more question for you, Michael, although certainly this could be our whole show. I have so many questions to ask you about South by etiquette. And this is a more general question, which is, how do you network at a South by event without being too aggressive or too pushy? Say you're that interactive person and you represent a startup, and you do want to talk about your idea, and maybe you're even there at South by to explore funding options, but at the same time, you want to express interest in the other person's life, be an excellent social human being at South by. How do you walk that line?
Well, I think you've actually put your finger on it. Is you need to be genuinely interested in other people, and I think that's the answer to a lot of things. And I think people get wrapped up in their projects and selling their projects, but I think those conversations rarely are sustainable. That unless you're buying something and oh my God, you have exactly what I want, but instead you want to be open to what they're into. And as a reporter, I guess I have a crutch because I get to ask questions all the time. So already I'm interested in what they're saying, and I don't have anything really to sell. I'm the person buying stories in a sense.
Have you ever seen a bad example, though, of someone going too far in the selling direction to you? Maybe they want a piece of coverage. Maybe they want access to somebody well-known that you know.
I have run across that occasionally, but people at South by are, I think because of the crowds, because of the number of people, they realize, if I put all my energy into this one fish in this huge ocean, I could be wasting a lot of time. So people are pretty aware of the fact that there's a whole lot of other potential targets out there. So they move on quickly. And
Gotcha.
In fact, so quickly that sometimes I have a hard time writing about it because I'm like, I had 50 snippets of conversation in the last hour. How am I going to make that into a story?
Right.
Where's the narrative?
Right.
Excellent. Well, I hope to see you out on the social scene when I'm out and about the one time of year that I actually leave the house and stay out past 8 p.m. So we'll see you out there at the festival.